Hi guys, it's Lynn with Littlefoot Nursery. I am here on a Saturday night at the time of filming this, uh, hanging out with Miss Emily. And I wanted to do a video actually answering a question I got through a private message. One of my acquaintances here in the doll community was just reaching out to ask for some advice. You know, how do you decide whether to purchase a baby or not? And I think in this particular case, she had several dolls that she was considering and trying to decide whether to get one or the other or more than one doll. There are several that she liked. And it's a really, really good question. Well, I don't think there's like an easy way to answer that question. And I tried to think about like my own doll purchases. I think I think that her question really pertains more to like ready-made dolls, because I think with custom orders, usually my decision to get a custom order done has to do with, oh, I saw a particular kit and it just sort of spoke to me. Like, you know, with my Kai, who's the Phoenix kit by Andrea Arcello, and then also Levi was a custom, Indy was a custom, Maddie was a custom. She just got shipped off, but most of my custom orders were, that was the process. So it's a kind of a longer process, more thoughtful, and it's not really as quick of a decision. However, I have also purchased babies through Dollfan as well as through eBay. So I think this is kind of more the scenario she's referring to. So Emily here, I won through an eBay auction. I also bought Zoe, who you guys saw in a recent video. She was from eBay. And then Maisie was from Dollfan. So those are the Reborns that I've purchased kind of through auction. And then in terms of my silicones, I also bought Olive by Sandy Faber, who's Millie. Still haven't 100% decided on a boy name. I think I'm kind of down to two names that I really like. So Olive, and then also my Gabigail, who's Noah. So those two were also, you know, secondhand purchases, as well as, you know, Olivia and Melina. So I have purchased a few dolls, both secondhand as well as brand new from eBay from the artist. So anyway, I'm going to chat about this, and I'm going to change Emily. You know, I'm so reluctant to change her out of this outfit because I just love it on her. It is so darling, so cute. It's just this like mint green kind of long sleeve foot lift sleeper. And but I really want to see what she looks like with this outfit. This is also from Janie and Jack. The one she's wearing is from Janie and Jack. And I don't know, somehow their clothing seems to like really suit her. So I'm going to go ahead and change her. And yeah, and I think in terms of like, you know, making that decision, I think that, okay, so in Emily's case, this particular artist, Mary Anderson, had actually done a number of Saskias. So she had sold several. And there was another Saskia that she had painted that I had missed out on. I don't know if I tried to bid on it or not. I think I did try to bid, and I think I was outbid. And then I really regretted it. I was really, really sad that I was outbid on that other auction. And so when she put another one up for sale, I was like, okay, this is my chance. I'm going to really try to see if I can win this baby. And I definitely went over budget, but I just really fell in love with the way that Mary paints Saskia. So I just had to go for it. And, you know, I haven't even seen any dolls that Mary has painted recently. So I think she might just be taking a break from reborning, but I wish she would paint more because I love her painting style. It's so peaches and cream, and yeah, I just really love the skin tone, and just something about her expression is so sweet. She's like probably the sweetest Saskia I've seen. So yeah, I think in that case it was just an easy like no-brainer decision. And it's funny, you know what? Now that I think about it, that was kind of what happened with Zoe too, because I missed out on I did try to bid, and I did not win Samantha Rose Harker's Layla or Lila Asleep. So, and I think I've shared this story before, but that was a big reason behind why I bid for Zoe. It was almost like I had tried and I had lost out on an auction, and I had really regretted it. So I really wanted to make an effort to try to win the next auction of a baby that I liked from that artist. And so with Maisie, my decision to get her was really, I just thought she was absolutely beautiful, and her price was good. You know, she was, and she was also from a reputable seller, so it was really a no-brainer. I think I responded pretty quickly, and I was so lucky to get her. Noah as well. So yeah, Millie was straight from the artist. I don't know what I was talking about there. Millie was not secondhand. My apologies for getting mixed up there earlier. So yeah, and then with Olivia and Melina, it was just to be able to have a second of the portrait babies of Audrey. Oh, she looks gorgeous in this. You know, this baby looks so cute in like everything. I feel like Saskia is one of those sculpts that can really wear anything and look absolutely adorable. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick her up. Oh, she's so sweet. Oh my gosh, this baby's not going anywhere. She is not going anywhere. She's one of my absolute favorite babies, favorite reborns in the nursery. I just adore her. And I think like I would love her. I would love her with rooted hair, but her painted hair is so nice. It really suits her, and it makes her a little bit more baby. Whereas Jenna, who is my other Saskia, had like longer hair, and it made her look a little bit more like a toddler. So yeah, I mean, I think that it really was one of those things where a baby like captured my heart, and it was almost like a no-brainer. It was like a, hey, I've got to have her, and I'm just gonna go for it. And I think with Maylee, I did get a little bit swayed by the price. Like I was just like, she's just too good of a deal to pass up. But I think for me, I realized, but you know, I knew there were some things that were not perfect about her, and I don't think I would make that kind of purchase again, just because I feel like if the baby doesn't like, if it's not a situation where I just love everything about the baby, I probably wouldn't do it next time. But you know, again, that doesn't mean the baby has to be perfect. It could have like little flaws here and there, but there just has to be something about that doll that captures your heart and makes you go, I need to buy that baby. And so it's just, yeah. And oh, Maggie, I totally forgot about Maggie. I bought Maggie secondhand as well. So I have had quite a few purchases that were secondhand or buying like an already made baby. So I think in all of those, I think Maggie, I remember seeing her for sale previously, and she was selling like at her full price, her retail price from Andrea, and I had passed on her at the time. And then when when her seller decided to put her back up for sale, but she reduced the price, I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. So sometimes for me it is the price. Like I try to think about, you know, the price for the quality of doll that you're getting, because there is like a limit. Like when you're bidding on auctions, like, you know, like there's kind of a limit that you have to set for yourself and say, okay, this is the maximum I'm personally willing to pay for this doll. Doesn't mean that someone else isn't willing to pay more, but you need to kind of set those limits for yourself, just so you kind of keep your bank account in check. So but yeah, but if you're trying to decide between multiple babies, and it hasn't been the case for me where there were several dolls at once that I really liked and I was trying to decide which one I wanted to go with, yeah, I just think it's one of those unexplainable things that's really hard to advise anybody on, because I think only you know if that baby has like really captured your heart. If you're like, oh, I like it, but I really, really like it, but it's not a like, oh my gosh, I must have that baby. You know, I feel like there's a difference between those two feelings. Then, you know, yeah, if you don't kind of have that feeling where it's like tugging at your heartstrings, I usually just pass, because I see so many beautiful dolls, you know, on Facebook, on eBay, and, you know, and of course the temptation is like, well, I want to get all of them, or, there's, you see these beautiful babies, and you just have to decide, and think about your nursery, and think about who you have in your nursery, and, what's going to complement. Like, for example, if you already have a 0 to 3 month size baby like Saskia, do you, and maybe you want a baby that's the same size so they can share clothes, or maybe you want a smaller baby that's a boy or something like that. Just something to, yeah, just for like a different, sort of experience. So, you have to think about kind of your collection. Some people only want one doll, one baby in their nursery at a time. Some people might just, some people might feel like, if they have two silicones that are kind of similar, that they don't really need both. But I think all of that is like up to you. Like, I think some of you guys might think I'm crazy for having, for having two Melinas and two Emery Mays. Sometimes I think about that. I'm like, gosh, I'm nuts. Like, why did I get doubles? But I think I've always just been that person who wanted to have a backup. And when I was a kid, I used to buy two of something I really loved, and I would save one and then kind of play with the other. And I just liked knowing that I had an extra. I think somebody else once commented on my channel when I shared that in the past that they were kind of like that too. So really all of us have to collect in a way that makes us happy. But yeah, okay. But when I'm evaluating a baby, I'm really look carefully at all the details. And if there's a part of the baby that they're not showing, for example, with Maylee, when I bought her, I asked for a photo of the back of the hair, and then lo and behold, Maylee had that huge balding spot. So I was like, oh my gosh, if I hadn't asked for that photo, I would have been in for a surprise. But thankfully I knew what I was getting into, and I still decided to move forward with the purchase. But it would have been really, really bad if like I had gotten the baby and had been just shocked by, something that I didn't anticipate, so make sure you really see good close-up photos of all the different details. And, ask the seller for, certain photos if you don't see those in the pictures that they're providing. And I think price has to factor in as well. Like, I've purchased my dolls from Ashton Drake, and for example, I really love Tasha and Georgia. I really like both of those dolls, but if they were trying to sell those dolls for $1,000, no, they wouldn't be worth it to me to pay $1,000 for example. But for $200, yeah, I would do that, so it's a, so I think cost has to factor in. And then similarly too, sometimes we do fall in love with like a dream baby that's just out of our budget right now. And sometimes we have to make those tough calls to say, you know what, as much as I would love to get this baby, I really don't think financially it's a wise thing for me to do right now. I think that, for me, looking back at last year, which is really like my first full year getting back into collecting, I know I overspent because there were a few times I raided my savings and to bring home a doll. It was, and normally most years I'm pretty good about like putting money aside, like, and actually adding to my savings, but last year I was taking from my savings. And so I was thinking about that as I was doing my taxes and feeling kind of guilty about that. So I'm going to try to keep myself in check a little bit better this year. I may or may not be successful, but it's something I just want to be, it's a goal of mine to try to be a little bit more mindful of spending. So anyway, I also wanted to share with you guys that I am reborn expecting. I think I've hinted at it in some of the other videos, and a lot of you guys have been asking which artist is it from, what sculpt, and so I will share with you guys the sculpt, but not the artist. I'm going to keep the artist a secret for now. She is a Russian artist, and I've never purchased her work before, and it is a custom order, which is super exciting. And the sculpt I'm going to be getting, you guys, is Tink. Yeah, and it's so funny because when the sculpt came out, I thought, oh, that's kind of cute, but, it didn't really seem like my cup of tea. I tend to be more, generally speaking, attracted to like chubbier, bigger babies. for the most part, but something about Tink just, and I think it was seeing so many people's versions of Tink, and each one was just so cute, and I just love that little lip and the big eyes, and I'd hear she is a preemie size and pretty small, but she just, she's a little peanut, but yeah, I decided to go for it. So so my artist is painting her as we speak, and I'm super stoked. I actually also I missed out on the Tink kit for the first edition, so I decided to purchase the kit and for the second edition, and I'd love to paint one myself and probably sell it. So if any of you guys is looking for a custom Tink, let me know, because I would love to paint one. It just looks like such a cute kit. So anyway, so yes, I'm expecting Tink. I'm really excited, and we'll have to see. You know, this will be my first time buying from this artist, so I'll keep the artist a secret at this point, and I'll share with you guys more as we get there. So anyway, I would love it if I would love to read your comments on, you know, how do you decide whether to move forward to purchase a baby or not, or to bid on a baby that you have your eye on eBay, for example. I mean, I think that it has to be a combination of like, how much do you love the baby as well as price, because, you know, and here's where it gets tricky, because sometimes you might see a baby and it's just a good deal. And I think this is like anything in life, where because something's on sale, we're a little bit more lenient about like, oh, you know, I don't like, you don't necessarily have to like love it that much to buy it, just because the price is so good. And I would definitely like caution against that, because at the end of the day, this is going to be a doll that's going to join your collection. You'll kind of forget about the money that you spent. And even if you got that baby for a good deal, if you're not like, if you don't love the doll, it's not going to be a good use of money. And so that's something that's like definitely a hard discipline to follow. Like, it's really hard for me when I'm buying clothing, for example, like for myself, if I see something and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so cheap, I should just get it. It's so tempting to do that versus like I hate paying full price for clothes. I hate it, because like I just feel like I'm getting ripped off, or especially if you see it go on sale like a month or two later from the same store, you're like, I paid full price for that. So but I have to also just watch myself not to go overboard with the sales. So, you know, and reborns don't really necessarily go on sale that much, but sometimes on the secondhand market, you'll see a doll and you're like, wow, that's a really good price for that baby, and should I go for it? But then, and especially in the silicones for sale section, like I'll sometimes see some great deals. There was a really cute cloth body silicone that I saw, that I think she was asking $1,000, and she was not that old. Sometimes the babies that go for under $1,000 are much older, like 5 years, 10 years old. But this one was like just maybe 2 years old, 2 years old. And I was just like, oh, wow. That's a really good price. And she seems like a really cute baby, but it's like, but I thought, well, do I need another cloth body silicone? Like I have Noah and I have Millie. I do really love both of those babies. And even those two, even like Millie, for example, I've sometimes contemplated like, should I keep her or not? Or keep him. I think pretty sure Millie's going to become a boy baby. So, so anyway, yeah, I think it's so tempting, and I definitely feel like I've gone, you know, I went way crazy and bought too many Paradise Galleries babies last year. So, and you know, it's just becomes a space issue too after a while. So just because something's a good deal, just keep an eye on your wallet. Although I will say sometimes we just want a new doll, you know, we're just kind of craving a new face in the nursery, and you know, yeah, and it's always, and if you can kind of get the same sort of joy or a comparable sense of joy and excitement from a less expensive doll, then, you know, at least you were able to acquire that doll and not do like too much damage to your wallet. So, oh, anyway, yeah, every time I see Emily, I just like fall in love with her. You guys know I'm also an artist, but just make sure that you always read like my description, because I feel like I get asked a lot, you know, where did you get that baby? Who's the artist? And I usually answer all of that in my description section. I usually always say who the artist is, if it's not my own work, for example. And just to make sure, if those of you guys who are reaching out and interested in custom orders, just to make sure you know which doll is my work and which one is not, you know. So I don't want to make I don't want there to be any confusion on that. But anyway, all right, well, Emily's gonna say bye, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.